Here we go. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, then it's John, the Blood Angels Commander, and I've been wanting to do the stream ever since yesterday, I guess, when they announced that I guess there's some new Space Marine stuff coming. So I wanted to dive into that. I wanted to look at some of the Space Marine stuff that's been announced that we don't have launch dates on as yet, as well. And then I wanted to do my normal look at an army list for sort of the weekly stream. So thank you very much to anyone tuning in right now. Hopefully these streams are pretty informative, and as always, Sunday is weekly stream day. So if you have an army list that you want to submit, we'll look over it every Sunday. Try and give you some tips and tricks and things that I might do to help with stratagems, help with tactics. I'm really open to whatever on Sundays. I'm really active in the 9th edition, actually. It's probably the most active I've been in any edition of 40,000. And basically, I want to win every game. I'm sure you guys want to win all your games as well. So I have a really interesting army list that I've made that I do want to share with you guys. But I think first, I'm just going to focus on community submissions. And if there's a week that goes past that I don't get community submission, then maybe I'll share you one of my army lists. Yesterday we got a little bit of a teaser, I guess, and I've grabbed a bunch of screenshots and I've got everything together, so hopefully we can have a look at it. I thought we'd start here with some of the new Astartes stuff. I don't know why I'm calling them Astartes. Essentially they'll be Blood Angels because that's the army that we play here on this channel. So and please give me any comments or anything that you have in chat, like if you have questions or if I do anything wrong. In the weekly tactics videos, you guys always seem to be good at calling me out if I make a mistake, so I appreciate it. And, sometimes I help people as well. Like some guy this week was asking about a Librarian Dread, if he was able to join the Death Company with Death Visions of Sanguinius, which he isn't, because it's only like lieutenants, chaplains, and captains. So hopefully I can help people out, and hopefully you guys can help me out as well. So the first thing that they announced in this video, we're going to run through this video in a second, but since I got to here, may as well just talk about this new Gravis Captain for a minute. So I have a Gravis Captain, however I haven't fielded him in a single game of 9th edition, because he only moves 5, so it's almost like he's in Terminator armor. He does have 7 wounds, which is nice, I guess, and he does have the toughness 5. But the current Gravis Captain just has the Bolt Storm Gauntlet, which is a pistol 3, which is really shit, I guess. Like, if you compare it to the Aggressor's Bolt Storm, or if you compare it to Rebooty Gilliman's Bolt Storm, it's there's no other way to say it. It's just a shit gun, basically. Pistol 3, strength 4, 1 damage. So this guy, I suppose, is interesting in that he's got the same power sword, so I guess power sword is going to be buffed to +1 strength. So by giving the +1 strength, that basically means we wound, as a Blood Angel, you wound people on 2s with the strength because of our +1 from Red Thirst. So that's cool. So I can see he's got a power sword. He's wearing the Gravis armor, so I guess that means he's on 7 wounds, toughness 5. It's still only a 3+ save, which is maybe the main drawback of this guy. And then you'll have a 4+ in Iron Halo. This heavy bolt rifle, we're going to get to that because they've got assault intercessors coming up, heavy intercessors. Let's just skip through this video real quick and see what we see then. So, Captain with Mastercrafted Heavy Bolt Rifle. Okay, so usually Mastercrafted means 1 more damage. So whatever damage those new assault intercessors are doing. Why do I keep calling them assault intercessors? I guess because I'm used to I'm painting assault intercessors, got them on the brain at the moment. I guess whatever damage this gun has, it's going to have +1 to its damage characteristic because it's Mastercrafted, most likely. And then, variants of Blade Guard veterans. So these ones, some of them don't have the Storm Shields, which seems like a big loss. I think one of their strongest things is because they have the Storm Shield, they get the 2+ save and the 4+ invulnerable save. Right behind me, I've got, speaking of ones with the Storm Shield, I have this guy with the Storm Shield that I've been working on. Hopefully he's going to be finished pretty soon. And you can see here they get the same Neo Volkerite pistol. I painted my bronze because, from what I understand, the Neo Volkerite, I'm definitely probably not saying that right, it's a weapon from the Horus Heresy. So the reason I painted mine bronze was because it's like a really old weapon. Oh, hey, Red Blade, thanks for tuning in again. The best way to submit a list, you can just submit a list by just leaving a comment on the live stream at the bottom underneath. Like, I get pop-up notifications of all the comments on the channel, and like I said in my other videos, I'm trying my best to respond to every comment. I might not get to them straight away, but if you leave me a comment with your list, like just export it from Battlescribe or something, totally happy to look at it that way. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, like I was saying, I think the strongest part of these Blade Guards is their Storm Shields. Giving them these pistols, I actually kind of like this pistol. It's strength 5, 2 shots, 2 damage, but no AP. But because we're Blood Angels, we're always heading towards the Salt Doctrine, right? So the second we get into Salt Doctrine, then you're looking at the -1. So from turn 3, it's -1. So potentially it's got a pistol that can do 4 damage. Yeah, I mean, I kind of dig it on the Lieutenant that I just showed you, but I mean, it'll be hitting on 3s rather than 2s, and then probably wounding on like 3s against toughness 4. So it's a decent pistol. But yeah, I guess Blade Guard veterans are getting some variants. I mean, I guess that's cool that we get variants. I don't like it when they release models without too many variants. And then, yeah, so like basically new land speeders, or I think this is a land speeder. I think we're going to get to the stats for it in a minute. I think it said it had 10 wounds, toughness 6, and there was 3 variants of it. Very much how there's going to be 3 variants of the new Gladiator that they haven't sold yet. And then here's a Cold Blood Angels variant. I think that's the new melta gun, the 3-shot melta gun, and then these will be some sort of rocket pods. Hopefully, yeah, I think we're going to get to this in the stream as well because they're shown off. And then new assault intercessors. So yeah, I'm in two minds with this. I guess they gave this one a knife. I'm assuming that knives or combat knives for Blood Angels are going to get this, or for Space Marines are going to get the same -1, because otherwise why would you take a knife for no -1 when the chainsword costs 0 points, right? It doesn't make any sense. So, and then this one's got like a bundle of grenades, so I guess like maybe it's going to be like a Fragstorm grenade where he can do like D6 grenade hits for strength 4 or something when he's charging in. I see one back here with a Power Fist, and maybe not in the screenshot, but there was one with a Thunder Hammer. I just think Thunder Hammers are going to be overcosted at the moment. I suppose it depends. Depends if Power Fists do become a flat 2 damage, then I guess I feel like Power Fist is a better way to go than the Thunder Hammer. Yeah, like just re-comment on what I said about the knives, and then these are interesting, right? These are the things I actually most interested in, the heavy intercessors. So these are basically intercessors. So these are a troop choice with 3 wounds, toughness 5, and they actually have quite a few different options for their bolt rifles. We're going to get to that, and then eradicators now have the option to take a multi-melta. I'm very scared actually with the changes of multi-meltas, like so they get extra damage on close range and they get 2 shots. I feel like multi-meltas are going to be real nasty. We're going to see them popping up all over the battlefield. I thought maybe if they were going to give them all this extra damage, they might think about the AP on it, because most of your vehicles will not get any save against it, right? Like multi-meltas are -4, and if you're a Space Marine in turn 1, then they're -5 due to the combat doctrine. So, like, it just seems really nasty to buff the damage, but not worry about the implications it might have, where like taking armor is going to be really difficult. So that was the video they shared, and then obviously we know Codex Space Marines is coming. They said that it's basically coming in October, and in Codex Space Marines we're going to get details for all the new unit types, but Blood Angels is going to be a separate supplement. So they said that our supplement was going to be one of the first to be released. They shared this picture of it. Some people believe that there might be some new models, and that this might be the Sanguinor, or a modification on him. I think, personally, I know that there's a new book coming out about Dante and Mephiston, and if you've read the Blood Angels books recently, then Dante and Mephiston were both kind of the key characters within the Blood of Baal book. Sorry, not the Blood of Baal book, the Devastation of Baal. I'm trying to think if there was any other named characters. Like, I don't think Corbulo was in the book. I mean, I remember there being like a priest or something in the book, but I don't think it was Corbulo. And in the Dante book, he talked about meeting the Sanguinor, but the Sanguinor was never in the battle at the Devastation of Baal, from what I remember. And Astaroth, Lamartes, they were mentioned that they were off somewhere else, but it very much felt like Dante and Mephiston were the main two characters, and Mephiston's obviously undergone the Rubicon to become a Primaris Marine. I mentioned that this week, so I honestly think if they're going to do a model, it's going to be Dante. He's a bit dated, I'd say. Like, I've been running him a little bit in 9th edition, and like his Chapter Master rerolls, where you can reroll all hits, is powerful. I think with a lot of shooting armies, or with an army with a decent amount of guns in it, is very powerful. But I really think that if they're going to update somebody, it's going to be Dante, because I think in the next book we're going to find out more about Mephiston going through the Rubicon, surely, because that happened after the Devastation of Baal. I keep calling it the Blood of Baal. Sorry, the Blood of Baal is the damn Codex supplement, right? So I really think it's going to be Dante. I guess we'll see. So in this Space Marines Codex, which we're probably going to want to buy, it's going to have rules for all the units, all the new units. But then, yeah, I'm not familiar with the supplements. Yeah, David, I agree. I really think it has to be Dante. There's a book coming out, right? I don't remember the name of the book. I think it's called Darkness in the Blood. I'll just Google it. Warhammer Darkness in the Blood. I'm sure Yeah, look. August 17, 2021. Darkness in the Blood. And it's written by Guy Haley, the guy that wrote the last... he wrote Devastation of Baal. So basically, I'm sure I saw a picture of it. Maybe there was a picture. I don't know, but I swear that maybe it was inside this Black Library Weekender. Darkness. Oh, there it was. Hold on. Also available for the first time, Guy Haley's Darkness in the Blood, this year's Mega Edition release akin to last year's this Blood Angels novel. See Dante, Seppinger's rolled in Warden. Yeah, so this is the book that comes after Devastation of Baal, and I'm sure it's going to be Dante that they're going to update. I was thinking about this as well, right? Like, think how many Blood Angels players they have, right? So when they released Mephiston, what is he, like $25 maybe? I honestly don't remember how much he was, but that's usually the price. So look on Reddit, there's like 12,000 Blood Angels players, right? So if they release a new Dante at $25, I should be able to do that in my head, but 12,000 times 25 is like 300,000, right? So like, if they release a new Dante, they can probably make £250,000, dollars, whatever currency you're in, right? Because everybody's going to need the new Dante, because they legend the old one, same as they legend the old Mephiston. And I think that will get him on the tabletop a lot more, right? Like with the Smash Captain, right? For example, the Smash Captain's up to 155 points now, and Dante is only 170. So they only need to make him maybe like a little bit better. You know, if he gets 1 extra wound, 1 extra attack, like Mephiston did for going Primaris, he'd be up to, what, like 7 wounds, and he'd be up to 7 attacks. I think Dante is 6 wounds, 6 attacks at the moment, because usually when I play Dante, by like turn 3, he's up to 8 attacks. I'm sure I've had him with 9 attacks reliably. Maybe that's using Red Rampage. But, yeah, so if he goes up to like 7 base attacks... Do you know what? I'm just gonna check. I know where Dante is exactly in this book because I've had to look him up enough times to read up on his damn axe. So yeah, Dante's 6 attacks, 6 wounds. So yeah, if they just give him 1 more attack, 1 more wound like they did to Mephiston, so it's 7 attacks, 7 wounds, then he's a monster, you know, straight away. With Shock Assault, he's 8 attacks on turn 1, then 9 attacks at turn 3. I mean, he's already powerful, right? Because like you hit most things in the game on 2s, you wound most things in the game except armor on 2s. Oh, when you reroll your hits. So I kind of think that with a tiny bit of love, Dante could be back. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And then I've heard about these Crusades, but I've never played them. Currently I'm just playing very competitive, but excuse me. The Crusades are an interesting thing, right? Where like it's kind of like Necromunda of old, right? I used to play Necromunda where like your characters would take a wound between battles and you had to roll dice for them and you continued. So I would like to get into Crusade, but right now I'm kind of focused on competitive play. Yeah, I mean, Primaris Sanguinary Guard would be interesting as well. I mean, the question about Sanguinary Guard, though, is like, if normal Marines are going up to 2 wounds or Sanguinary Guard going up to 3 wounds, maybe in that photo that was... maybe this is a Primaris Sanguinary Guard. I think people would be happy with that. Maybe if they're like 4 wounds, like... I mean, he's holding a cup, right? Yeah, actually, that is a good point. It's the Sanguinor that holds the cup. Yeah, so I mean, I guess this is potentially the Sanguinor then. So, come on, computer. I mean, I guess that's supposed to be his Iron Halo as well. So yeah, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe Dreaming for Dante is wrong. Do you know what? I don't dislike the Sanguinor. I really like how he can fall back and charge other people in the same turn. I think that's really strong. And usually with our characters like Dante, Astaroth, Lamartis, for example, except Dante, who's got the Infernal Pistol, most of the rest of them just have like a bolt pistol usually. So it never bothered me that the Sanguinor didn't have a good gun, right? Like, you're never going to really do much with this gun anyway. So, do you know what? I guess we'll see. If you think about it, pretty much all the chapters last time round got one character converted to Primaris, right? Ultramarines got Marneus Culgar, we got Mephiston, I know the Space Wolves got Ragnar, and I'm sure the Dark Angels got somebody, I just don't remember who. So I would imagine that they're going to do the same thing this time round, where like one character from each Space Marine faction is going to go across the Rubicon, because why would they not do that? Because they know they'll just sell that character. Like I said, there's 12,000 players, Blood Angels players on Reddit, so they'll get 10,000 sales for that character. So that's the way that'll happen, and I think that's the way it'll happen because people won't be pissed off, right? Like if suddenly they just said, right, as much as I would like them to just be like, all the Blood Angels characters are now Primaris and you can buy all the new models, it would piss people off because they'd spent a lot of money on all the current ones, right? Whereas if it's just like one new character each wave of codexes or each wave of books, I guess like the Psychic Awakening was the wave of books last expansion. So, all right. Anyway, before we get too more distracted, let's move on. So, had a look at this guy. So this is obviously a Primaris chaplain. And I guess the interesting thing with the Primaris chaplain is a master I'm not even going to try and say it. Sanctity. Basically, what it is it would let you take a chaplain that's not a named model and give him like a warlord trait that allows him to add one to litany casts. Which is great, right? Because litanies normally cast on 3+. This would make them cast on 2+. He also gets an additional litany. So most of the chapters have somebody that can cast 2 litanies per turn. We have Astaroth, but obviously he casts on 3+. But then he has the fly keyword and the jump pack and stuff. Whereas like this guy would obviously doesn't have that. So I guess you would have to balance it out. The strategic reserves new rule makes having a jump pack less important. Yeah, hey McLeish, thanks for tuning in. If you want, I can link you. I can link you something to get you started. It depends if you actually want to what chapter you want to collect and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you're looking for and I'll help you out. Yeah, so this is interesting. And he also has a strange relic that basically lets enemies not reroll hits, not reroll wounds, and not reroll damage against you. I mean, it's a strange relic, right? Because some chapters don't really require rerolls, whereas some have tons. For example, like I can think, I play my friend who plays Sisters of Battle, and they have Repentia, and Repentia gets reroll all their hits. So this guy would be really strong against those, for example. But then maybe against orcs, you're not rerolling hits, but you just have a shitload of hits. So that's a weird relic in that like it's very situational. If you're going to like a tournament or something, I'm not 100% sure how you would use that relic, but I do really like the warlord trait, like being able to pick 2 litanies and I guess 5 out of 6 times guarantee they go off with a 2+. I think that's really strong. I think some of the litanies, especially like the charge one, I think it's called Canticle of Hate, and then Catechism of Fire for the +1 wound rolls for shooting. I think they're both super strong, so being able to almost guarantee those go off, because you can no longer command reroll litanies with the change to 9th edition, so you need to be aware of that. And then, yeah, in the video we saw this guy, so he is a captain with a mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle. If we roll down here, maybe there's a heavy bolt rifle. So a heavy bolt rifle is 36 inches, rapid fire 1. 5 damage, 5 strength, -1, 1 damage. So I think that the Mastercrafted version will be 2 damage for sure, and it might even be rapid fire 2, because if we compare it to, I compared on one of my videos just very recently, I looked at the captain, oh, maybe I'm wrong. So a regular Space Marine captain, a Mastercrafted bolt gun is actually rapid fire 1, strength 4, -1 AP, 2 damage. So, do you know what? It might be more. It might be like -2 for the Mastercrafted. We'll see, but I think it'll definitely be a 2 damage bolt gun, and then the power sword, which we already know is going to be +1 strength. So, yeah, a little bit more interesting than the current Captain Gravis armor, but you know, maybe they shouldn't have done these fancy poses with everything like built into the model. Like, just give them 2 arms and let us. I still like the old books where it was like pick any melee weapon, pick any pistol, and you could get a few more options, you know. But I mean, it's kind of a cool model, and I guess we'll see if he makes it onto the tabletop. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about it is you'd probably be like half the points of one of your characters, so you have that going for you. And then next up was, so these are heavy intercessors. Now, I personally actually really like how these guys look. Obviously, they're Smurfs right now, and I don't like Ultramarines that much. I like killing Ultramarines, but I don't like them. But I think in red, I mean, the aggressors that I have look great in red. And I think these guys will look cool in red, and their data sheet is quite interesting. So obviously, like we talked about them having 5 toughness and 3 wounds. So they'll be a bit harder to shift if you want to leave some of these guys behind on objectives. If you do want to leave them behind on objectives, that's kind of cool. And also, I guess the thing about leaving them behind on objectives is they're still going to be pumping out probably 2 shots because they won't really need to move around, right? So they're pumping out 2 shots at 36 inches. Power level 7. So if we think of like regular intercessors as they currently are, they're power level 5 and they come in exactly at 100 points. So I think power level 7 means these guys, I think 1 power level equates to about 20 points. I mean, I did Mephiston the other night and he was power level 9 and he's like 170 points, which would actually make him like 7.5. But yeah, I really think 1 power is about 20 points. So I guess these guys will be squad of 5, I'm guessing is going to be like 140 points. Maybe 150. I guess we'll see. And then each model is equipped with a heavy bolt rifle. Frag and crack grenades is normal, and the bolt pistol, I mean, that's all very standard. But the heavy bolt rifle is interesting thing. So it's rapid fire 1, strength 5, minus 1 AP, 1 damage. So basically you get 10 shots at strength 5 at 36 inches. If you're sat on objective, that seems strong. Yeah, Red Blade, I mean, if you've got 10 of those guys, it seems strong. They might be a bit costly though if it's 280 points for 10 of them. Unless you start them as a 10-man squad and then pay the 1 CP to combat squad them during the game and they can split up. But this bit was a bit... I read this a couple of times, a bit confusing. So if no model in this unit is equipped with a heavy bolter, you can take one of the following options. So all the models in the unit can swap their heavier bolt rifles with 1 bolt rifle each, a Helmstorm. So you can go for an Assault 3 version of this with no AP, so you can move your 6 inches, get your 1 bonus inch move from the Red Thirst, roll your d6. So potentially you could move like... Sorry, not move 6. These are like aggressors because they're in Gravis armor, right? They move 5. So basically a maximum of a 12-inch move. So it'd be like a 7 to 12-inch move and then shoot 3 times. It's certainly decent. Or you can take the Executioner rifle, which is heavy 1, minus 2 damage. So, and then a little bit more range. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted some of these guys just to sit on objective, now they're sitting on objective with 42-inch, 2 damage of Executioner bolt rifle. So yeah, I mean, these guys really sound interesting. Like, I can totally see me replacing an intercessor squad with these guys and then actually have them useful. Because like often your intercessors will just sit on objective and do nothing, or sometimes infiltrators will sit on objective and do nothing, and if they're only 20 points more than infiltrators, the reason I take infiltrators is to stop the deep strike, but then if these guys have 3 wounds and toughness 5, even if someone does deep strike in, you're going to need to put a lot of firepower into them to be able to take them out. And then obviously you could Auspex scan them if they drop in as well, and if you've got strength 5 minus 1 damage, your Auspex scan could potentially wipe quite a few of the models out. And then for every 5 models in this unit, 1 heavy intercessor's heavy bolt rifle can be placed with a heavy bolter. So I guess if you're doing heavy bolt rifles, you can have 1 heavy bolter, 1 heavy intercessor's heavy auto bolt rifle. So I checked this, there isn't an auto bolt rifle here, but I think they mean the Hellstorm bolt rifle, because that's the auto one is usually assault version. So 1 Helmstorm bolt rifle can be replaced with 1 Helmstorm heavy bolter. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it's both the Hellstorms, right? So you can have a heavy 4, 2 damage. I mean, that weapon seems crazy, but I mean, I guess you'd be minus 1 to hit if you move and shoot. And then the last one was, or 1 hit the intercessor's heavy stalker bolt rifle. So I'm guessing they mean Executioner bolt rifle. Can be replaced with 1 Executioner heavy bolt rifle. So you can actually have 1 guy who has a heavy 2, minus 2, 3 damage a pop. That seems nuts. It depends on how many more points that is, but like 2 heavy shots for 6 damage at minus 2, and they can just sit on an objective 42 inches away from the enemy, popping them every turn. Yeah, I mean, these guys seem like really legitly interesting. And then I guess, yeah, right, what Redblade said, if you had a 10-man squad of this, you could have 2 of them. So basically, these guys are pumping out some serious firepower then, like 8 shots at strength 5, 2 damage a pop, and then 4 shots also at strength 5, 3 damage a pop. Like, so these guys can do 22 wounds a turn while sitting on objectives 42 inches away from the enemy. And they're obsec as well because they're troop choice. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, and then if we keep on moving down, we've got Eradicators, and obviously, like, I guess the Sergeant, or one of them now, can take a multi-melta to... I don't know if this multi-melta is really going to be that worth it, because these melters are 24-inch, and they can shoot twice if they pick the same target. So the only thing that the multi-melta does is... I was going to say it lets you pick a different target. Yeah, I mean, I guess it lets you pick a different target, but you still lose shots, right? Because if you all choose the same target, you get 6 shots. If the multi-melta picks a different target, then it gets 2 shots and the other 2 get 2 shots. So you get 4 shots split between targets as opposed to 3. Slightly stronger, but the rumour is that these guys are undercosted at the moment at 40 points. I guess we'll see what's happening with them. And obviously, what we talked about before, multi-meltas now have additional damage in short range, which is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy scary. I don't know if this is going to apply to all melta guns as well. It's going to put a lot more strength in armies that can just field small squads of guys with melta guns. Sisters of Battle, for example, I think the Dominion squads can field a lot of melta guns. This is going to be tricky if you're taking armor, I guess. It's just so much damage. And then Blade Guard veterans are going to get the potential to have this new pistol, which I said that I liked, and then I guess some options, which is cool, but also losing the shield, which I don't think is that cool. I think you want the shield on them. I think it's one of the strongest things. And then assault intercessors, hand flamers to me just don't seem worth it, right? Like, they're strength 3 and they're d6 shots. It's just so unreliable. I mean, maybe it's different now with the blast rules. Are flamers blast weapons? Someone tell me in the chat. I don't actually know if flamers are blast. I don't think they are. I haven't been playing them as blast. If they are, then yeah, I need to know. I guess like hand flamers, regular flamers, heavy flamers. Do they have a blast keyword now or no? But yeah, I mean, Thunderhammer is just... It's cool that we can do it. I just think Power Fist might be a better option. I'm really interested in what this knife's going to give. And then... Oh yeah, and then we've got our 3 new land speeders. So the first one has a Gatling cannon, 2 heavy stowers, and Fragstorm grenade launchers. Very much, I suppose, for taking out infantry, right? I think that's the one that they showed of the Blood Angels one. No, it wasn't. It was a Hammer Strike. Then you have the Hammer Strike, which is triple-barreled melta, missiles and grenades. So I guess a Crackstorm grenade launcher. Is it just one? 2 Crackstorm grenade launchers. So, I mean, 2 at strength 6, -1 d3 damage. Seems pretty average. The Hammer Strike missile launcher is essentially just like a Cyclone missile launcher with flat damage, I guess, and more AP. So I guess it's kind of like a las fusel, actually, a 2-shot las fusel. And then the Melta Destroyer. Yeah, I mean these things are like attack bikes with multi-meltas on crack, right? They're gonna be tricky to deal with. Move of 16, so they can almost, they have a 40-inch threat range with this Melta Destroyer. So just jump in, 3 shots, pop something, and I guess 10 wounds. So, and strength 6. So they are they are a little bit durable. I was wondering if they had a -1 to hit, but, because they moved so far, but it doesn't look like it. And then I think this was the one that they showed the Blood Angels picture of, right? Where it was like the hammer strike, yeah. So, I mean, it looks cool, and it's got these anti-grav plates as normal, the new Primaris ones. So it's an interesting option for fast attack. I guess 9 power level, sorry. So maybe like 180 points, something like that. Alright, thank you. So flamers aren't blast weapons. So yeah, I guess like the hand flamer to me is just, I don't know if it's I reckon it probably costs like 5 points on an assault intercessor. I just think if you're going to pay 5 points for a weapon, don't take a hand flamer. Like, I think you'd be better off taking a power sword, or I'm trying to think what else is 5 points right now. An infernal pistol, a plasma pistol. I think they're both the same at 5 points. I think you'd be much better off taking something like that than a hand flamer. I try and get away from weapons that I feel like that are unreliable, and the hand flamer definitely feels that way. Okay, and then the last one then. What does it say it has? Am I skipping too fast? No. Lastly, the Storm Speed or Thunderstrike can serve as an anti-tank role through twin Icarus rocket pods. Well, I mean, that's either a las cannon or like a las fusel. I guess these are your twin rocket pods because that's what they look like. So if it's the same rocket pods you've got on like it is the same because they're Icarus rocket pods. It's the same rocket pods you get on the Dreadnought, the Redemptor. So it's strength 7, -1, 2 damage, D3 shots. But it's -1 to hit ground targets and +1 against air targets. So I guess good against other flyers, but kind of weak against ground targets because you'll only be hitting on 4s. Obviously the las cannon or laser destroyer, I'm not sure which one this is, and then I really don't know what those side weapons are. It doesn't actually say. It just says it can be used as an anti-tank. Yeah, I don't know what those side sponsons are. It's got missile under the wing. Alright, so it's going to have some sort of like missile. Doesn't say exactly what it is. Different missile launcher to this one, I guess. This will be like a laser to guide the missile, I guess. That makes sense. Okay, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be. It just says it can do an anti-tank roll. I just think that if it's the same -1, then you're only going to get like a couple of hits from the rocket pods, which against most armor, which makes them kind of weak, I guess. And then finally they said next in line was what we talked about before. Our new book is coming very soon. And then they also said the Forge World book was coming, which is great. So we'll get all the rules for all the Forge World stuff. And then what I did was I went ahead and grabbed a screenshot of what they showed in the trailer for the Blood Angels to try and I upscaled the screenshot as well to try and see exactly what's happening here. So over here we've got Death Company, or Intercessor Death Company with bolters and chainswords, and we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there maybe was one off screen as well. And then what's that guy got? Is that a sword? I can't really tell. And then behind it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with guns. This one has a combat knife, I think, but he's also carrying like a bolt rifle. And then the ones in the front, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe this guy with the sword. So it looks like we're going to get Assault Death Company Intercessors. I don't know what they're going to call them. I guess they should have just called them Primaris Death Company or something. And the last time they called them Death Company Intercessors. Or maybe they're just going to give weapon options so that Death Company Intercessors can take chainswords and bolt pistols. That's probably the best way they could do it. But I still feel like where the hell are jump packs? Jump packs I feel like are super important for Death Company. Getting them where they need to be. I'm a bit sad that there isn't anything yet. And then over here, I guess we've got some Reavers. It's a bit weird. I've never painted the Reavers this way with the yellow helmet and the white face. Reavers aren't fast attack either, so I don't know why they've painted them. They're elites, so they shouldn't have yellow helmets. I think elites are supposed to just have red helmets. I will check this super quick. But, I mean, I guess they're kind of fast. But I'm not sure about that. I actually don't like those. I think you'd be better off painting their helmets red. Like, I don't particularly think that looks all that great. It says close support are yellow. Okay. Fire support are blue, battle line are red, veterans gold, commands gold, close support is yellow. See, I always thought it was assault that was yellow. Okay, and then obviously they showed off this new thing, the Thunder Strike, I think it was called. The Hammer Strike, sorry. And then they show off this one of the new Predators with the double Gatling assault cannon and the new bolter. They haven't shared the rules for this either yet. I had them over here in another tab to have a look at it. So it's basically a Gladiator Reaper. It's got a Tempest bolter and a twin onslaught Gatling cannon. So don't know what the rules are for a Tempest bolter. I mean, they sound a bit like the Primaris version of a Hurricane bolter. This is supposed to be a Predator, it's the Primaris variant of the Predator, right? Like, it looks like a Predator with the way that the turret is, I guess. But it's like an anti-grav version because all their tanks fly now, apparently. So it's like an anti-grav Predator with a twin. So I guess onslaught cannon are usually heavy 12. I believe it's going up to strength 6 -1, so it's going to be like heavy 24 -1, strength 6. 1 damage a pop, and then these look a little bit smaller than Hurricane bolters, so maybe they're somewhere in between. Like, maybe they're like rapid fire 3 or 4. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, but I guess if we're getting the Codex next month, yeah, it's rapid fire 6 as a Hurricane bolter, so they get 12 shots per. So maybe these ones are like 4 shots per or something. Yeah, I mean, I feel like normally when you make a Blood Angels army, they seem to, like the Ball Predator is an example of this. They seem to give us weapons that will clear out chaff, right? But it's like, usually chaff isn't my biggest problem. It's like enemy big armor and stuff that I need to get into close combat with that sits miles away from me in the battlefield. So I guess maybe some people would roll with this. I mean, I guess the question is, how many of your friends actually play with a Ball Predator? Like, I have one and it sits in the cupboard and it never makes it into an army list. And I have a second one that's half built that I was like wondering if I'm ever going to put the Flamestorm cannons on it. And it's kind of like, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, this doesn't tell us too much, I guess. Just maybe Death Company are getting one more weapon option. Maybe, we can use these new tanks. It seems like it's, considering the Blood of Baal book, I feel like this book just came out, right? Like, I don't remember when Mephiston came out. Was it... I could probably check when he came out. Just by like going onto YouTube and searching like Mephiston, and I bet you at the top it'll tell you like the Games Workshop. So it was 9 months ago. So yeah, it feels like a lot to ask me to buy another book less than a year away for like new rules for just the Death Company and maybe these new tanks that I may or may not field. And then obviously we have to buy our own supplement as well, so I guess there's that. So there's a few questions I'm not sure about. And then finally, the one final screenshot I took was this one for the Assault Intercessors. So yeah, it only shows a very limited weapon options here, and I am actually playing a squad of Assault Intercessors in most of my lists at the moment, and I am sort of enjoying using them. but I don't know if a few more weapon options adds too much to what you can do with them, right? Like, I guess maybe like giving the captain a power. Like at the moment, the only option is to give him the plasma pistol. Like if you give the captain a power sword, or a power fist maybe, and just have something that chews through armor a little bit, that does make them more interesting. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's most of the new stuff covered that they shared yesterday. And I guess it's cool. I mean, I guess there's a lot. Just in the last month alone, there's been maybe like 20 or 30 new Space Marine units. And like you've got those 3 new tanks, you've got those new buggies, you've got the heavy assault intercessors, you've got the 3 new land speeders, you've got the new captain. I guess you got some unit options for the Blade Guard veterans. So yeah, I guess there's a lot. There's been a ton of Space Marine stuff, but again, it's still the same issue with Primaris in that it doesn't really, it would be really nice if this time round, or this edition, as well as giving us one new character, we talked about this already in the stream, how it might be Dante or it might be the Sanguiner, because we think that maybe that's him on the front of the new Codex. As much as it's nice, it would also be nice to get one of our faction-specific units updated. Be it, I mean, I guess when I say that, kind of what they're doing at the moment is updating the Death Company, right? They are a faction-specific unit, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens then, because we'll have Close Combat Death Company, and we'll have Close Combat Primaris Death Company, and regular Marines are getting 1 more wound. So what's happening? I don't know exactly, but I guess we'll cover it all on the stream. And I do appreciate you guys tuning in every week. I know that I've got some ongoing fans, so it's certainly appreciated. So what I want to do now is, that took way longer than I thought it was going to take. What I want to do now is actually what the stream is all about, which is look at an army list. And this week the army list comes from Justin Cortsey. I hope I said that right. And he shared it over on, he just left it in a comment in one of the videos that I did this week. I know I've had quite a lot of comments this week about requests for like Friday's tactics videos, and I think all I can say about that is I'm going to make a lot of them. And yeah, if you tune in, and you'll see, I'll try and cover everything. Obviously I can't cover everything all at once, and it does take me a long time. Like the Mephiston video this week I think took about 5 hours. It took me like an hour to write the script, an hour to film it, and then like 2 or 3 hours to edit it. So yeah, I mean, it was one of the best videos yet that I've done on the channel, but it'll take me a while to get through everything, but I will try. And if you guys do have requests, I'll certainly try and make myself available for those. Alright, so today we're making a strike force, and it's going to be a 2,000 point strike force, and then it's going to have 1 additional relic of Baal. So, taking it from there, as most lists start with Blood Angels, we have the Librarian Dreadnought. And this Dreadnought's going to actually have the gift of foresight, because he's the warlord. And it's going to have wings so it can fly. It's going to have shield so it can survive a bit better. It's going to have Unleash Rage. Is that? I don't think you can have 3 powers on a Dreadnought. Oh no, sorry. He's got another Psyker in this list. That's Mephiston, and that's his powers. Okay, let's get Mephiston in. Let's give him his powers: Shield, Unleash Rage, and that. And then let's go back to our Librarian, who has wings and quickening. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. So he can fly, and then he can buff himself with additional attacks. He also has the Veritas Vitae to get command points back when you spend them. I guess that's interesting. I mean, I feel like you get quite a lot of command points this edition anyway. And then he's running with a Meltagun, the Furioso Fist, and obviously the it doesn't say here, but like the Force Halberd or whatever it's called, like is the psychic melee weapon that the Furioso Force Halberd. Sorry, so it's strength 10, -4, 3 damage pop. And then finally, we've got Sanguinary Priest, and this one has a jump pack, which is cool. I'm still sad that they never. Back in the day, before they legend it, you could have lots of different weapon options. Look at all these weapon options that they legend. So I actually made some with weapon options, only for them to be legend and be no use. So that's annoying. But anyway, alright, so very standard. 2 Psychers, I mean, maybe he plays in I think he said he plays in a psychic heavy meta. So I can totally see why you have 2, so you can do a lot of denying. And, yeah, I mean, personally, I kind of like having some sort of captain for the rerolls to hit, but yeah, I mean, it depends on the meta that you play in. So this is pretty standard. And then he has 4 intercessor squads, and each one has a power sword for the captain. So yeah, I guess just like what I was saying a few minutes ago, like power sword or something on the captain for the assault intercessors is really good, just because it gives you something that can chew through some armor. And I guess this is just the same thing. Bear in mind, remember when we do fight against armor, we probably still wound it on 4s, just because even if it up to strength 7 or up to toughness 7, sorry, we'll end up wounding on 4s. So your captain in an assault intercessor squad, I think he gets 3 attacks by default, right? So yeah, 3 attacks. So 4 in the charge, 5 if we're in turn 3, and then of those 5, we'll be wounding like armor and 4 pluses, and it is still -3 from the power sword, D3 damage. So I kind of like that. The only thing I don't like here is that there's no, like, an infiltrator squad would help you with any deep strike denial, so you don't have that. So as long as you're okay with that, I guess that's fine. And then we have basically Redemptor Dreadnought. I really like these guys. I keep playing them in my list. They cost right around the same points as the Contemptor Dreadnought, and the Contemptor Dreadnoughts are a tiny bit more survivable. And this one is the Heavy Onslaught Cannon, the Heavy Flamer, the Fragstorm Missile Launchers, 180 points. So that totally makes sense. I mean, to me, this feels like a Dreadnought that's supposed to get into melee and use its fist. That's fine and all. I guess, like, if you did take a Contemptor Dreadnought, yeah, this is the. Sorry, no. Remove this. Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought is what I'm looking for. Well, we can just take the Relic Contemptor for this example. Remove both its weapons and give it like twin link blast cannons, 2 of them. So for 5 more points, you can get a Relic Contemptor with 4 blast cannons on it. It depends on how you're running this army. Like, this army seems very, very heavy melee, which is fine. But if you do want to switch something out and have a little bit of firepower, then if you could save 5 points, like remove one of these power swords, Justin, you could very quickly give yourself a little bit of shooty. This guy, the Contemptor, obviously, with his 48-inch twin-link glass cannon, you can just set an objective at the back of the board, somewhere you can see across the board. And, you know, this guy's actually no chump in close combat, even with, like, the 4 last cannons and no melee weapon, because he gets, let me check this profile, I think he gets 4 attacks, so it would be 5 on charging, and 6 if you're in Savage Echoes, and he is hitting with strength 7, so, and his weapon skill and ballistic skill is 2s, so if somebody does jump in for a deep strike or something, he can shoot them, and he can still do, I don't know, like 5 or 6 strength 7 hits with a -1. You know, like, so you basically force people to take saves even against this guy, and then he can still shoot his weapons in close combat now, even, and it's only -1, right? So he hits with his last cannons on 3s. So that's an option. I'll remove that and continue on your list. Just throwing that out there. I think the Relic Contemptor is either maybe a little bit underpointed at the moment. I think they're super strong. And then Sanguinary Ancient. This guy's awesome. You obviously give him the standard of sacrifice, so everybody around him 6 inches gets a 5+ feel no pain. You can't put a price on that. It's one of the strongest things that we have. Any Blood Angels list should always run it, I feel like. And then we load up on some Sanguinary Guard here. So we've got we've got a squad of 5. We'll give them their death masks. And these ones are all with axes. No difference in the point costs with the weapons now is kind of nice. You used to always have to juggle these points around. And then it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7-man squad. 1, 2, 3. So that's another 7-man squad, all with axes as well. I guess axes is kind of good down the middle, I feel like. You'll get a lot of wounds with axes. The only thing with axes is they're only -1, right? -2. Is it? Huh. I thought the axes were -1. Okay, so the axes are -2. So it's -2 or -3, and then the axes do give you the plus to your strength. But I mean, maybe these Incarnate Swords are going to get buffed to give you plus to the strength. We'll have to see about that. So you would wound most things, I guess. On anything under toughness 5, you'd wound on a 2. Toughness 5, you'd wound on a 3, and then above you'd wound on 4s pretty much. So another big squad of Sanguinary Guard, and then finally another squad of Sanguinary Guard, same with the axes again. I'm interested to know how you actually play this, because yeah, it's like, are these guys all starting on the board, or are you deep striking all of them, or what are you doing? And then, because yeah, if you ever want some help, use the website Any Dice. It lets you roll any dice you want and get results, right? And if you don't understand how to do it, then ask me on stream and I'll explain it to you. But Any Dice, so if you're like deep striking in, you roll 2d6, right? So the output is just roll 2 dice, and this is the result. So if you're deep striking in as a Blood Angels, you need an 8-inch charge, right? So all you would need to do is add up these 3 values together, these 5 values together. So like 13.389, plus 11.11, plus 8.33, plus 5.56, plus 2.78. That is your percentage charge if you drop them in on deep strike, with no rerolls. The thing that I was doing before over here, this is basically saying, this is a function I wrote on this website. This is basically telling it to, like, if it's a bad result, do a reroll. And what are bad results? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, because obviously that's a failed charge. So then we reroll and then we output. So if we have a reroll on the charge, the number now becomes like 29.99 plus 17 point this, plus this, plus this, plus this. So you go up to 66% charge. So basically you add 25% charge chance if you have the reroll. And you can also use this website, like you could use it to you could calculate your descent of the ancients on the website as well, right? Like you would just be able to, feel free to copy this if you want, so you can go like, or just output 3d6, and then you would basically be adding up these numbers below 8. So if you're using your Descent of the Angels, you can see straight away that your chance of getting that charge is considerably increased. Like you're looking at like 1, 2, 4, 8. Like you're looking at about 80 plus, right? So it's kind of it's kind of interesting what you want to do with these squads, in that I feel like some of them have to start in the battlefield, because a 40% charge roll on just regular deep strike is not good enough. At least unless you're going to deep strike them down a turn before and fly them behind a building or something and hope that they don't get killed, and then you can deep strike, get them in. I'm not entirely sure how you're using these. I would like you to let me know. And then the Terminator... Sorry, it's not a Terminator Ancient. It's a Terminator Assault Squad. And 2 with Lightning Claws, 2 with Thunder Hammers, and the Sergeant with the Thunder Hammer. So, 192 points. And then fast attack, you have an Outrider squad. I've not had good success with Outrider squad. They cost the exact same points as an Aggressor squad. Or rather, sorry, they cost the exact same points as an Aggressor squad with the Auto Bolt Storm and Frag Storm launchers. And if you compare the two, right, like it's just, I almost think there's no comparison in that, like, your Outriders, their bolters are like rapid fire 2, I think. So you get 4 shots per bolt per bike. So you get 12 shots. Let's just make sure I get this right. Yeah, you get 12 shots at strength 4. Whereas each aggressor gets 6 shots plus D6 shots. So each aggressor potentially gets 9. So let's go with the average, you get 27 shots. And if the aggressors don't move, you get to shoot twice. So you get 54 shots. That's the average. With the aggressors, your potential number of shots is 12 per model, so 24 per model, and if they don't move, so you potentially get 72 shots. So you're talking about 12 shots with -1, strength 4, or 72 shots with no minus. Like, I don't care that there's no minus. The 72 shots, your enemies are going to struggle. And then obviously the aggressors are rocking power fists. Well, they're not power fists, are they? They're the Auto Bolt Storm Gauntlets melee, but they are power fists. Like, they have the exact profile of power fists. So if they charge them and they don't kill them, you know you're killing things back. Whereas these guys just have their swords. Oh, and your aggressors, there's no penalty for advancing. So they move 5, you get +1 to your advance roll because of Blood Angels, and then you roll your d6. So potentially they can move up to 12, and your Relentless Assault. Models in this unit do not suffer the penalty when to their hits rolls for advancing, firing assault weapons. So yeah, I mean, I really wanted to try these Outriders. I've got some on my painting table, and I've been using them, and like, honestly, I just don't see how they fit. They just seem weak. I mean, they got 1 extra wound than the Aggressor squad, I guess. But the thing about the Aggressor squad is, I found my aggressors can sit with my Standard of Sacrifice moving down the middle of the battlefield, so they're tanky because of the Standard of Sacrifice. The Outriders are off on their own. I mean, maybe you have the Priest with Outriders, so they get +1 strength when they're fighting, so they're wounding most things on 2s. But still, I mean, yeah, because your Priest had a jump pack, so you could do that. It's really interesting. I don't know, I'm just not running bikes at the moment. I just don't. Point for point, I just don't think they compare to aggressors. And then the other thing I'd say about your list here is, based on those numbers that I showed you with your charge chances, I'd almost say it might be worth, like, do you really need the Virtus? Do you really need that? Because you've got like 12 CP in this list, right? Or 11 CP and then 1 per turn, so you've got 16 CP. It might be better like taking Icon of the Angel, the new from the Blood of Baal, which lets you reroll charges within 3 inches of that model. If your Priest is dropping down in Deep Strike with any of these Sanguinary Guard, you basically buff the chances of the charge from 41% to 65%. So if you have 2 Sanguinary Guard dropping down, you're almost guaranteed at that point for one of them to get in, like 2 65% chances, whereas before you've got 2 41% chances. So you've got 3 Sanguinary Guard as well there, so you know, if you drop 2 of them together with the Priest, those guys have got a really good chance of getting in. The other guys maybe not so much. Also, your Terminator Assault Squad, I don't know if they're deep striking in as well, but again, if they're coming down next to you, like, the Terminators are so expensive, right? 192 points. If they don't make their charge, that's horrific. You know, like, you could lose a game there on the fact that they don't make their charge, because if they make their charge, they do so much damage. If they don't make their charge, they do nothing. They can get shot off the table. So maybe, and you can't use Descent of the Angels on the Terminators, right? Because they don't have jump packs, so you're always just charging on your 2d6. So the ability to re-roll the charge might be huge. Another interesting thing you could do is, if you have Astaroth in this list, or any librarian that has a jump pack, what you can do is you can try and cast a litany that gives +2 to your charge range. for models within 6 inches, and then pay the 2 CP upon Wings of Fire to relocate him on the battlefield. So if he was, so he could move away from wherever. So if you don't cast your Litany, then you don't do the Upon Wings of Fire. If you do cast the Litany, then jump to where you want your Deep Strikers to come in, potentially have the Icon of the Angel in this guy, or not, but regardless, you get +2 to your charge roll. And if we bring up that any dice again, so before we needed we needed an 8 to get the charge on 2 dice, and it was about 41%. So if we only needed a 7, then suddenly you jump to about 56%, 57%. So it's looking much, much more likely. And I suppose if the function, I've lost my any dice function now. I can get it back because I saved it in a notepad because I thought it was kind of important. 1 second. Here we go. So if we bring back our any dice and we only now need this. Oh shit! Hold on. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 is bad because we get +1 to our charge. But that. Oh, I've confused myself now. We get +1 to our charge, but with the Litany you get +2 to your charge. So you need a 9-inch charge, so you actually only need to roll 7. Yeah, that's correct. So if you only need to roll 7 and you calculate this, then 1, 3, 6, 10, 16. So you have like 80. If you have Astaroth jump to either of those units, then you have like an 80+% charge. I mean, if you wanted to do it, just add up all these numbers here. Basically what I've been doing on my weekly tactics video is using this site, using this function that I wrote to try and put the numbers on the screen. That's what I did with the Mephiston video, is put the numbers on the screen so people know the exact charge percent. Because too many times have I dropped in a Sanguinary Guard thinking if that Sanguinary Guard make that 9-inch charge, I can win this game. They just need to take those guys off the objective. The actual chance of them making that charge is 41%. And I'm if you knew that up front, you'd probably not do that play, right? Because you're I don't want to win or lose a game on a 41% charge. So, let me go back to looking at this list as a whole then. I think this list is going to struggle in some ways against very shooting lists. And I don't particularly like the Outriders. I think that you maybe need some heavy firepower in here. I mean, let me know what... Yeah, Justin, once you watch this, let me know what this list falls over for you, because this is very similar to the list I was running, right? With a big Sanguinary Guard, a big Death Company, Intercessors to hold objectives, Terminators to deep strike in. I didn't have the Outriders, mind you. I just had another couple of characters. This was last edition when it was more important to have more battalions and more squads and stuff. So, yeah. I don't know what else I can say. I would need to know what's falling over to this, but it feels a little bit one-dimensional, right? Yes, you will win a lot of your melee combats, but you're going to have a few turns where you're just going to get shot, and depending if your enemy, depending on what your enemy's rolling, the shooting could or may not really hurt you. One of the lists I play against has 9 aggressors and 6 eradicators in it, and it's an ultramarine list, so the aggressors can move and shoot as if they didn't move. So basically each squad of aggressors gets 72 shots, and then you have the eradicators pumping out the melta shots. this was the list that really made me change my focus from 100% melee into a more balanced list. And I think that the strength of the Blood Angels at the moment, at least what I'm seeing, is balanced. So you have some shooting, and then you have some melee. Because when you want to charge a unit that can shoot 72 times, like the average is they're still going to hit you. Like even with 6s, they're going to hit you like 10 or 12 times in Overwatch, and then usually they can pay some CP to reroll all the hits. So you have to take 20 armor saves before you even get in. 2 of your squad's only 5 men, so imagine, it's only probably like a -1 AP, so you're saving on 3s, but you've got to take 20 of them, so you're going to fail some of them, right? Like you're going to fail 5 or 6 of them. So you're going to lose a couple of models before you even get in. And against lists like that, I feel like this falls a little bit flat. Especially if that list as well has some heavy firepower just dishing out. And also that list that I play against has infiltrators, so you'll never be able to deep strike within 12 of them, which makes it even more difficult to deal with. So, okay, I think that's everything for this week. I hope that was interesting, and I covered a lot of different things in the new units. If you want your list reviewed in the next one, then feel free to leave me a comment below, and I will definitely have a look at it next week. Basically, I'm pretty much doing them on a first come, first served basis. And if you've got any suggestions for tactics videos, I know I got a couple this week. So if there's anything that you want to see, leave me a comment below. Alright, until next time, thanks everyone that tuned in, really appreciate it. By the blood are we made. Peace.